Howdy folks, and welcome to Armoured Warfare Early Access Test 4. Not a huge range of changes in Early Access Test 4, it's more a case of polishing, streamlining, the occasional new vehicles being introduced like the FV721 Fox here, armoured reconnaissance vehicle which is massive amounts of fun. Mostly though it's just been a case of streamlining, refining and polishing what's already there, but there are a couple of exceptions and the Retrofit system is one of them. Just like equipment module upgrades in World of Tanks, things like gun rammers, coated optics, retrofits do exactly the same thing here in Armoured Warfare, but you unlock them in a completely different way. You unlock them with reputation or experience in exactly the same way that you upgrade the various different other modules on the tank. This, for example, on the FV721 Fox, is the firepower retrofit slot. Once you've researched this, it opens up the retrofit slot on the Fox, enabling you to put any firepower upgrades that you've researched into it. The Fox also has a mobility retrofit, a technology retrofit, and a universal retrofit slot, for a total of 4 potential upgrade slots that you can have on the Fox. What can you actually fit in those upgrade slots? Well, things like this. Upgraded transmission Mark II. This is unlocked on the FV721 Fox once you've researched everything else on the vehicle, and what it does is it increases your acceleration. Once you've unlocked it on the Fox, you can fit it to the mobility or universal retrofit slot on any other tank that you own. So just to give you an idea of just exactly how powerful these different retrofit slots are, we're going to have a look and see the various different retrofit modules that I've fitted to my FV721. So down here we can see I have an advanced supercharger. Now that's gone into the universal slot, but it's one of the mobility retrofits. What it does is that it increases my hull traverse speed by 15% and my maximum speed by 4.95%. This is the Mark III version, which is unlocked on the Warrior. In the firepower slot, I've got gyroscopic stabilizers Mark III. What this does is it increases my reload speed and my aiming time, and again in the tooltip down below you can see which vehicles the various different versions of this retrofit are unlocked. In the mobility slot, improved filter systems Mark III. This gives a flat boost to my maximum speed, and once again in the tooltip down below you can see exactly on which vehicles you unlock the various other different versions of this retrofit. And then finally in the technology slot I have the security control package Mark III, and this increases my base capture rate by 15%, and it's unlocked on the BMP3. So by progressing through the various different tech trees, I've unlocked a whole bunch of modules which I can then fit to any other vehicle in my garage, and which has turned the little Fox here, which is already a pretty impressive tier 5 armoured fighting vehicle, into something that aims faster, turns faster, moves faster, captures bases faster, and loads faster. And it gives it a really significant performance boost. And that, in a nutshell, is the Retrofit Equipment Module System, and it's probably the single biggest new feature of Early Access Test Round 4. But it's not the only one, because artillery has also had a couple of changes. The change to artillery that's been grabbing all the headlines is the introduction of artillery support rounds, things like smoke shells and illumination rounds. Smoke shells, obviously, to obscure your own tanks from spotting by the enemy team, and illumination rounds to basically light up an area of the map and reveal any hidden vehicles. In my opinion, however, it's these illumination rounds that are very interesting. Artillery already should be relocating every time it fires a shot, because every time artillery fires, if you keep an eye on the minimap down there, you'll see a ping appear on the map. Now that's only visible to other artillery players, and what that ping is telling me is somewhere in that map grid artillery has just fired a shot. Now they haven't done it yet, but there you go. See the ping on the map there? That red ping down there. Bingo. There. I know that artillery has just fired from that location. Now if he sits in the same spot and fires again, that ping will become more precise. It will become more focused and it will narrow his position down. And if he fires for a third shot without moving, I'll actually see him from my top-down artillery view. But if you're firing illumination rounds, you don't even need to wait for him to fire his first shot. And that's why you just have to move from the spawn point at the start of the match when you're playing artillery, because if you don't, if you just sit there, you'll get lit up by an artillery illumination round in the spawn, and bingo, there you go. This guy has fired 3 shots without moving. I can now see him on the map. And there's a hit. And of course I am now firing shots without moving. 3 shots out, I have to move. Scored a couple of hits on that guy, and in case you've been paying attention, that's shit the nuts. I'm not the only YouTuber in this match. Now, because I know that I'd fired 3 shots without moving, and if anybody was watching my map grid, they're going to see me pop up. I popped my smoke grenades just in case somebody was trying to target me. I relocated. Let's have a look. This is also a new feature, by the way, this mini-map that pops up when you hold down Control. With the forced perspective view that you have by default when you're in... Oh, there's a good hit. Yes, with this forced perspective view that you have by default, when you're in artillery top-down mode, I find it very, very difficult to actually navigate around the map. And this addition of a new pop-up mini-map, which you can just right-click on, fire an illumination round like that, and light up this enemy leopard. Ah, great stuff. You can actually see the flare illuminating the ground underneath. There it is. And there it is. Do you see it at the top of the screen? Of course, once again, I'm firing without moving. I relocate and bam, there it is. Counter battery artillery fire. Somebody's paying attention this time. There's a second shot. Just missed. And a third. That was close. Now, if you have a look down there, you'll see the other friendly artillery who is barely alive. And that's because he hasn't moved from the spawn. And he's not relocating after he shoots. So he's been hammered by counter battery artillery fire. And he's lucky to be alive. Now, this is where things started to go horribly wrong, but not before we do some good damage to one of the enemy artillery. I'm still looking around for targets here. And sure, there it is, there's a ping on the map. Bang, there he is. He's fired 3 shots without moving. Now, I have been spotted by direct line of sight from an enemy tank at this point, but I want to get my 3-round salvo off and then start getting the heck out of here. Fire a final shot. And he is taken out by Thunderstruck down there in the M109 Paladin. However, he's still not moving between shots. While I'm motoring to get out of here in this German Tier 8 artillery, and I've been spotted again, this thing is very, very quick in a straight line. He's still not moving, and bang, there we go. Ship the Nuts just took him out in his German Tier 8 artillery. Unfortunately, this 3-kill lead was the best our team ever managed. It ended up being a horrible, horrible defeat. But I like the way artillery works in Armoured Warfare. I like the fact that it doesn't just one-shot tanks from above. I like the fact that you have to move from the spawn point. You can't just sit there in the same spot the entire game with a packet of cheesy Wotsits in one hand and your mouse in the other, randomly clicking away at targets and just one-shot obliterating them or missing them completely and doing absolutely no damage. I like that you have to move between shots, otherwise you just get taken out by artillery players who aren't being lazy. I like the fact that you can't just sit there in the spawn without moving, otherwise somebody's going to light you up with an illumination round and they're going to take you out because you were too lazy to move. I like this little mini-game that goes on between yourself and the artillery players on the enemy team, as you're both trying to do damage to enemy tanks while avoiding being counter-battery fired by the artillery on the other team. And I like the smoke rounds, I like the illumination rounds, and I really, really like this new pop-up mini-map that appears when you are in top-down artillery view, which just makes it a hell of a lot easier with the forced perspective that artillery have when they're in their top-down view to navigate around the map and actually get your gun pointed at the right target. But most of all, I just love the fight that this guy put up. As the last tank left alive on our team in his M1A1 Abrams with, well, he's going to have all 5 of the remaining enemy tanks, including the artillery, there it goes, taking pot shots at him, and he just refused to go down quietly. That's more like it. Go on, my son. One more? No? No? No, he's done. Oh well, never mind. Well anyway, we're going to finish off with some gameplay from the utterly fantastic FV721 Fox armoured fighting vehicle. This is a PvE co-op mission. Look at this thing move. At the time this thing was in use, and it is actually still in use by Malawi in Nigeria, although it was retired in the early 90s from the British Army, but this was one of the fastest infantry fighting vehicles in the world. And with the equipment retrofits that I've fitted, look at it go! Look at him! Look at him! I badly needed that tree, by the way, otherwise I would have probably collided with that tank. It's so quick, it's almost uncontrollable. And of course, once you've upgraded it, it comes with 2 Milan anti-tank guided missile launchers, and you can fire them one after the other, and it takes around about 20 seconds to reload. And come on, yeah, there we go, good stuff, fantastic. It's also equipped with a 30mm Raden cannon. Now, the real thing fired a 3-shot magazine. Here in Armoured Warfare, they've given it 5. It's still a very, very limited magazine, but 3 would have been it would have been useless. Oh, this is where I go on my hero spotting run, by the way. I'll get a load of this. In fact, I think we need some appropriate music here. Where's the Matrix? This was highly amusing. See if you can guess how many vehicles I spotted during the course of this battle. Right. Oh, I've been lit up. Rod and autocannon. Bang, 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 bang. Gotcha. Ah. Oh, objective. Very quick reload on this autocannon, even though it does only have a 5-shot magazine. Objective secured. Here we go. Let's get lit up by the entire enemy team. There's one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, and there's another one. Ah, you can't kill me. Steer, steer. Oh my god, there's another one. And another one. Oh my god, there's enemy tanks everywhere. Ah, you can't shoot me. I'm the Fox. Ah. Look at this thing move. This, of course, is with, 2 different mobility retrofit packages installed. Look at that. I love this machine. It is fantastic. It's almost so fast it's unplayable. You really, really need... I mean, I don't know how the hell I managed to not die in this thing. I certainly don't have the reflexes anymore. Of course, the mobility retrofit packages that I fitted to this thing don't help, because I think... Well, the whole traverse is increased by 15%, which is a large amount. It can actually be the case that sometimes I'm steering this thing and I just don't know which way it's going to end up pointing. I mean, wheeled vehicles, as a rule, some of the armoured fighting vehicles, some of the tank destroyers, they are pretty hard to steer. And of course, because they've got wheels, you can't pivot on the spot the way that you can in a tank, and that can get you into trouble. It almost does later on, as I'm coming around here, and I run into a T-72 Ural, which is nice. Of course, the T-72 Ural has the kind of armour that's specifically designed to defeat, assuming it's upgraded, the Milan anti-tank guided missile that I have here. And the armour on the Fox is laughable. It's welded aluminium. It won't even stop a 50 caliber machine gun. A couple more spots from up here, and here comes the T-72. Now, as an armoured fighting vehicle, you get the ability to designate a target, and that's what I've done just here by keeping him in the crosshairs and holding down the E key. But now he's spotted me as well, and I don't want to get shot at by his gun. So I have a hard time of it steering with a wheeled vehicle here, but I managed to get behind this rock. But yeah, nobody's shooting him. So I pop a smoke grenade and I get the hell out of there. I spotted 31 enemy vehicles during the course of this cooperative battle, and while those vehicles were spotted, my team did 3 not 300, not 3,000, 3 damage to them. Yeah. Yeah, it was like that. Now, I'm not going to fire the Milan missile at the T-72, but I will fire it at that. There's another kill. I love this machine. I really do love this machine. This is the first game I ever played in it. And first impressions count, they really do. I've had all kinds of problems with other kinds of tanks that are actually good tanks, but the first couple of games I've had in them have just been utter disasters. And so, associated in my mind with the image of whatever tank it was, is just this big, fat, floating turd. Even though there's nothing wrong with the machine. First impressions do count. And my first impression of the Fox, oh hell yes. Oh no, it's an AMX. Rod and autocannon. Bang, 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 bang. Come on. Ah, gotcha. It's like driving around in a Ford Fiesta. A souped up boy racer version of the Ford Fiesta, with a missile launcher on top. This really is a great little machine. And of course, I also have the technology upgrade fitted, which boosts my base capture rate by 15%, even though I'm not actually capping the base here, because capping bases is for losers. I'm not capping the base, I'm actually recovering the intel package from the downed C-130 Hercules. Yeah. Anyway, that was a fun game. Which also brings us on to one of the other new changes in Armoured Warfare Early Access Test 4, and that's a much, much more detailed post-battle results screen. And here it is, and oh, look at that. Most damage done in a tank battle in a Ford Fiesta. Anyway, let's have a look at the other tabs. There it is, look at that. Just hang your heads in shame. 2 of them actually managed to die. But this is where the really detailed statistics are. There's just a wealth of information there to judge how well or how badly you did. So anyway, that's Armoured Warfare Early Access Round 4, which is running 24 hours a day and will be running until the 30th of August. I definitely recommend it. If you're interested, have a look in the video description. There's a link there which can get you set up and running in this latest version of Armoured Warfare. That's it for today, folks. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.